with we have Josh.
I'm Joe.
From Louis Lingg the Bombs. People will know Josh, I believe, a lot of people. So we are having lunch here in, outside of Paris. I don't think either of us know exactly where we are.
Reconnecting.
Yeah, we're still live. So
That's cool.
I think I pressed the button when I sat it down. So
It's quite a nice view.
yeah. So I don't know how much video action we're gonna have here, but
There'll be people going by,
yeah.
joggers and people on bikes and
Yeah.
stuff.
All right. But the idea behind the RPM tag in those shows is that they will be the official subtitle is going to be music, cycling, and open source. So that way people will know what they're in for, and it'll be a place where possibly we'll talk about some non-Creative Commons stuff, but maybe slightly more freeform than the jibber jabber jambalaya stuff. So probably later, if there's time, we'll record a JJJ, and that'll be a little more focused. But we've already had discussions about a variety of topics on our ride out to the forests of France. Again, I don't think we know exactly where we were, but
we went to the Museum of Gunpowder.
Yes.
In a forest called the Séverin Forest.
You guys played a show on Sunday, right?
Yeah, we
did. The festival. So
we did, yeah.
What was the festival all about?
So it was the annual permaculture festival, which is a type of gardening, and the festival is in a garden called the Mur à Pêche, which translates to the peach wall. It's basically an old peach orchard that is now a community garden where people grow their own food, organic.
It's you.
Yeah.
Here you go for you. And for the you hope.
Ah, super.
Enjoy the meal.
Merci.
You're welcome.
I think we may have gotten hit on the one of the buttons on here again. Getting moved. See if I can figure out what button is causing that to happen, and then we can make sure we don't hit that button. And that button would
Wow,
definitely do
look
it.
at that. That's that looks absolutely delicious.
Now it's just black. Oh, that's because did I have my hand over the camera? Now it's just black, and I don't know why.
Oh, I don't know. What?
It says you're live, but it says you're live, but
but with a blacked out screen.
yeah.
That's weird that because the camera's everywhere on these phones.
Don't know. Well,
Okay.
I guess we'll just keep.
If we're still live,
Yeah.
black
We'll just keep talking.
black is the new orange, whatever.
Yeah. Who knows what's happening there?
Yeah, you're missing out on some amazing joggers.
All right.
So yeah, in terms of Kickstarter, I am not only the lead singer of Louis Lingg the Bombs. I also started a.
Shall I remove this one?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I also started
well?
a business, a recording studio business, recording local punk bands. There we are.
Yeah. Well, not just punk bands, right? I mean.
No, not just punk bands. We've done metalcore, hardcore, deathcore, jazz, French chanson française, and Sri Lankan music, Bangladeshi music, Algerian music, all those kind of things.
Remember at the at your place, I was talking about the journalist collective that I am a member of. They do this at Les Tours. where after the day of racing, they find some place to hole up, and like, of course they're a little more professional than they have like real mics and stuff, but yeah, they just sit around at a place and record their thoughts on the day. And it's funny because the journalists at the bike race, they don't end up seeing a lot of the race because they're busy getting from like the start to the finish, So a lot of times they're like, I don't really know what happened because we didn't see it on TV. And I guess somebody's probably watching like a stream would be my guess. But it's just sort of interesting that you could like be there, but like not actually know what's happening. But there's other things that like they go and get like interviews with the riders and stuff, which like not something you can really do if you're not there. So I mean, you could roll around a camera and a microphone to the riders and stuff, but a bit easier to do when you're there. And they also do like like real like journalism stuff, like trying to hold the the power accountable. So
that is something hardly any journalists do these days. So it's very important.
Yeah. So yeah, they've definitely like they reported on like the Afghani Association like kicking out the women cyclists and them having to be refugees. They did some reporting on that. Last year there was some new dangerous stuff that was happening in cycling. I don't know if this is like something that's like mainstream. Are you familiar with like carbon monoxide rebreathing?
No. Well, yeah, because I grew up in a caravan. In a caravan, you heat your caravan with a gas fire. So if you live in a caravan, one of the main causes of death for caravan people is carbon monoxide poisoning. There we are.
So there's a medical technique where you like people that have like lung problems and stuff, you can have them breathe in like a small amount of carbon dioxide, and you can like measure their like if they're getting better and stuff based on the amount of something. I don't know all the science behind it, but basically there's this technique that when done properly under proper medical supervision is safe. And it's a metric that people can use. So what some groups, UAE, which is one of the UAE sponsors a cycling team, one of the biggest ones that has 3-time Tour de France winner Tadej Pogačar as their main cyclist. They started using this technique to, and not just them. I don't remember all the other ones, but they were one of them, to measure the effectiveness of altitude training. And basically, so Escape Collective, basically they're like, somebody's going to die. Like, a team that's paying cyclists $8 million, sure. They, $8 million a year. They can hire all these professionals, and they can do this safely. Nobody's worried about Tadej Pogačar dying from this. But like, other teams, maybe like, people that are up and coming and stuff, they're not going to do it right, and somebody's going to die from this carbon monoxide inhalation. So they broke that story. They were the first to report on that.
It's a good story.
It's UCI is banned it now.
It is a good story because the history of cycle racing is the history of drugs as well. Because my dad was really into bike racing back in the 50s and the 60s. And back in those days, the they would inject. The legend goes, they would inject a chemical equivalent of dynamite into their blood, and obviously amphetamines, classic, because amphetamines had been invented in the First and Second World War. So they were really big in the 50s and 60s. So that's one of the first bike drugs was amphetamines, and then this whole legend of injecting some kind of chemical that's related to dynamite in your blood system. Now you get advanced drugs with Lance Armstrong. But here in France, where the Tour de France is very important. Basically, it's the tour of drugs because it's always related to drugs. I mean, that's something that people don't realize about biking. It's the relationship with riding bikes to really crazy drugs.
Wouldn't LSD didn't he go on a bike ride or something? Like that was the guy who invented LSD. There's something about a bike and LSD. I don't remember all the details there, but there's a podcast that I listen to sometimes called Softcore History, and that's a riff on Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. So they like they do some research, but they like to be like, we're softcore. We don't really do a lot of history. They don't pretend to be. It's almost more of a comedy show than it is a history show. It's kind of one of those drunk history sorts of things. But they do cover real history sort of stuff. People should check it out. It's good stuff. But some of the jokes are. Well, you have to have a certain sense of humor, I guess. To some of the jokes are pretty dark, I guess. I mean, history is full of all sorts of dark stuff. So I guess it makes sense. Like my mom, I was talking to her the other day, and she was talking about how fucked up the world is, and I'm like, yeah, but also you don't have the Mongols burning down a quarter of the world's population. So could be worse.
Could be worse.
In the scheme of things, the world is a pretty safe place. So, historically speaking.
Yeah. We have the world population is quite high compared to just a few decades ago.
Yeah.
I think suffering is more prevalent nowadays than it has been for a while.
Do you really think that's true, or do people just know about it?
Human suffering. Yeah, but it's one of the things about the interesting things about the modern world is that we're connected by social media. So you don't suffer in silence anymore. Or some people do, obviously, but there's a lot of people. Why would you suffer in silence? You have social media, so fucking tell people. And so I think that's an interesting philosophical change in the world, is that suffering is definitely more there, and it's starting to reach a kind of crisis point.
Well, certainly there's, we were talking earlier about the Gaza situation.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, is that the suffering that these people go through is kind of without precedent, because it's really, they're not only suffering a kind of medieval style siege and Second World War style genocide, so that's already a double whammy, but they're also philosophically speaking, again, they're denied their own existence. So what they have to do is they have to get their telephones out and prove not only that they exist, but that the pain that they're feeling and the suffering they're feeling exists as well. So can you imagine the nightmare they're going through old school medieval starvation, siege, man-made siege, and they're going through all this modern technology extermination, And they have the 21st century bullshit as well. Like you have to maintain your followers as fucking Meta is censoring you and deleting your posts and stuff.
Yeah.
So they have 21st century rubbish as well. It's literally a nightmare where people will deny that you even exist, and Meta will delete your posts and that kind of stuff.
Speaking of Meta, you asked earlier about PeerTube. Was that a question for yourself or for the audience? Because I did not go into a lot of detail there, and I could go into more.
No, go into more.
If you're curious, so
because I am curious about alternative internet stuff. I'm 47 years old for the audience, so that explains my ignorance.
The problem with, I mean, you can actually PeerTube is the people that started it are a French company. I think it's Framasoft, something like that. Yeah, I guess the big problem is just finding a site where you can host your stuff. Or I mean, the beauty is you could host it yourself if you had the time, and you know, you can probably find somebody to help you set it up. I mean, I don't know that actually, I don't think the technology is probably that hard to set up, but like, it's just one of those things you have to do. And you'd have to like pay for some hosting somewhere and stuff. So, you know, you have to be pretty serious about it. Although for your wife, maybe having like her own site to distribute things off of, that might be a useful tool. But yeah, we got our site is Dalek.zone, which I just found, like, you know, searching around, they had all the features that we wanted when I was looking around. And the guy that runs it, his name is Dave. He's pretty cool. He's you know, we're on like the featured you know, list of stuff that's hosted there, and the initial limit was pretty low, so we bumped up our storage. So yeah, shout out to Dave. But we've talked about hosting our own, but you know, we were talking earlier too, it's like everybody's doing their own stuff. That's not necessarily a criticism, it's just like reality. I mean, like, you know, we're talking about Stoffel is doing, you know, stuff with his band, and, you know, doesn't leave a lot of time for like organizing community-wide events. So I don't know, we've talked, I don't want to do it because it just feels kind of gross, but we talked about like maybe having to get like a TikTok to like get the youths involved.
Yeah.
So
Young people and the Creative Commons world. It's a good question, because we were talking earlier about the fact that young people that put music out these days are much more affected even than we were in our day, when there was tons of gatekeepers and you couldn't get your music out anyway. Nowadays, the literal nightmare that young people go through with Spotify, Deezer, all of those streaming platforms, and the major record labels, it's literally a constant nightmare, and it's literally horrible. I had one of my friends brought this to my attention, Brainless Network, because all of his back catalogue was ripped off Spotify, and that happens a lot. That happens a lot to young people, because your listeners might not know, but the entire streaming industry has been completely taken over by organized crime, because it's the easiest and most safest way to launder money without getting any police trouble at all. Because the worst thing that can happen to you is you get kicked off Spotify. And money laundering is actually a very serious offense, because you can literally make money for cartels to kind of kill thousands of people. But nowadays you can do that for free, and the worst you risk is just having your Spotify account deleted, and they don't care. They'll just make another one.
Yeah.
But people get caught up in the crossfire, and young people releasing music on Spotify have got caught up in this crossfire. So I think that young people need Creative Commons more than we even did, and we really needed it.
Well, our screen is black, but it still says we're live. So
That's cool.
I'm guessing that it's still. It looks like somebody's watching as well. So hello, or whoever is watching,
Awesome.
or I guess listening. I don't. Maybe they can actually see you and we just can't see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening.
That's cool. Well, anyway, so yeah, we need young people in Creative Commons, that's for sure. And the other way around, young people need Creative Commons desperately, because it's getting to a point where there was like a golden age of streaming of Spotify, where young people could like release a rap record and it could get like 100,000 views, and you could make something of yourself. But that time is over now. There's so much AI music coming in to fake playlists. So what a drug dealer does is he makes a ton of money doing drugs, killing people, etc., etc. And then what you do is you hire a company that makes bots, and then they upload thousands and thousands of fake songs, fake AI songs, and they put them in playlists that are then fake streamed by bots. And then what you do is you put some real artists in your fake playlist to try and trick Spotify into thinking that you're a real person and not just a bot with thousands and thousands of fake playlists. And then what they do is that they steal the identity of the real musicians and try to steal their money as well. And so you also get your identity stolen, and sometimes if you don't realize it, because you never get money from Spotify anyway, you don't realize that your identity's been stolen, and that some drug baron is getting your money. You are doubly punished, because then Spotify will kind of, when they do find out, if they do find out, they delete your profile and all your music completely, because they suspect you of being a criminal. And then you have to appeal to try and get your music back online. And kids go through this stuff literally, every year, on a once a year basis. It's happening to them all the time. It's just a nightmare. The system can't go on like that. It's just ridiculous.
One current potential alternative. I don't personally have any. Well, neither of us have any experience with it. Really. Well, I don't know. Maybe we didn't get quite that far in the discussion, but I know that some folks have had a lot of success with Tribe of Noise.
Yeah.
So I know you are. I don't know what you've tried. Yes, very good.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, take it.
You were saying you'd had some email correspondence that ended up not going anywhere. But did you ever sign up for the platform, or that's?
No.
Okay.
We just wanted them to be interested in Louis Lingg the Bombs.
Oh, okay.
And they obviously weren't. But we didn't. I didn't push it.
Yeah.
There's with the band you just like cast your.
Yeah. Was it not? I mean, again, I don't know, but is it not just a thing where you can just sign up for?
I can't remember.
Maybe that's changed.
Yeah.
I think you can now. So.
Yeah. No, it was definitely curated.
Okay.
Which is the interest. This is why I was interested in FMA, is because I like curation.
Well, I mean, okay. So Tribe of Noise does own the FMA, but they're two separate, really, two different accounts, I guess. So, I don't know.
Yeah, on a bigger level, I think curation is becoming more and more important in the music scene.
Yeah.
I almost said business, which is obviously not very relevant for anarcho punk bands, but yeah, I like or any website with a kind of curator, like giving their view of music. It's like making a mixtape almost.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously business means different things to different people, but like, at some level, like, you need to have like enough, like, whether it's a gift economy or not, like you have to have like things to live and like,
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is like whether you want it to be relevant or not, I think it is relevant, the business side of things. And I mean, anybody who just kind of thinks that it's not relevant, I think is, there's one of two ways to look at this. Either you have like some other thing that you're doing that's aside from your music, like maybe you work at a shoe store, or, like it could be anything, like literally anything. You either have that, or you're going to have to, there's some sort of business side to the art. You're going to have some sort of, again, like, even if it's just like, some sort of communal thing where people are providing you food or whatever, like for your service of music, like you still have to have that arrangement. Like there has to be some sort of like economic policy associated with the music.
In terms of Louis Lingg and the Bombs, the first site that really made us money for real was Jamendo. Jamendo made us thousands, like I think 2,000 in the end. We haven't seen any money from them for years. But back in the glory days of Jamendo, when Jamendo was rising as a website, they would pay us quite a lot of money, and that was really good. Nowadays, our main source of money from record sales is Bandcamp. Bandcamp, we got maybe more than 1,000. I'm not exactly sure of the accounts, but more than 1,000 euros from our last record release on Bandcamp. And you can compare that with streaming, where you get nothing. Or I know it's not fair. That's not fair. From streaming, we get like maybe $60 over a year, but from Bandcamp, you get $1,000 over a year. So the difference is massive. It's massive.
With Jamendo, are you still putting the new albums up?
I was, but I think I might have not put the last one up there. I think I'm one album behind with Jamendo, which is totally understandable because they don't look after their website anymore. And I'm being horrible, but it's true that their website is unusable.
It hasn't been updated in a while. Man. I mean that's just a fact.
Yeah.
The reason why then I don't think there's any like streaming revenue from Jamendo. It's all like shops and stuff that have licensed from Jamendo.
Exactly.
So like, they may have been like, there may be like poppier things that they would want to license. But the reason, I mean, like, so like, a song like No Joke, for example, I feel like, would be the type of thing that a store might play in.
Yeah, I think,
like Madonna is a corporate whore.
Yeah.
Maybe not the song that they want playing. But maybe Neiman Marcus doesn't want that playing in their shop.
Oh man, no. But it's. I think you have to correct me because you're the legal guy. There was a window when Jamendo was getting quite a lot of money from, hair salons and bars, trying to get away from paying royalties to the
right. That's my understanding.
But that window is kind of closed. So,
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, thank you. Not for me.
Nah, I'm good.
I'm good. Okay. Yeah, so maybe the legal hole that allowed Jamendo to really rake in money is kind of closed.
Yeah, that I don't know. I mean, like, the way all that operates is a little bit different in Europe. And of course, we've talked about briefly that Jamendo never really made it outside of, France, Germany, maybe very much. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be pretty easy to do in the U.S. I mean, like, if you're not playing songs that have ASCAP and BMI royalties, you wouldn't owe them royalty. I mean, it's really simple.
Exactly. I mean, here in France, if you're a hair salon and you have the radio on in the background, someone's going to ask you to pay for that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So even so you sometimes you have hair salons that just turn off the music because they don't want to pay.
Yeah.
And
but I guess if you had, like, I don't know how it works in France, but in the U.S. again, like, I mean, it would be similar. I mean, I don't know if they would care about the actual, like, terrestrial radio, but I mean, I think theoretically that's a public performance, but like anybody could also just play it, so whatever. I think that one's maybe a little gray, but if you had like a license with a place like Jamendo and you had proof of, like, this is the stuff, and it's not from, whatever licensing. I don't know what the licensing society is in France. I mean,
the SACEM.
Yeah, the SACEM.
Yeah,
like
that's how Jamendo works.
Yeah, if you could prove that was that, it seemed like it would just be like, okay, we're playing music, but we're part of these people. We're not part of SACEM.
That's how Jamendo made its big explosion. Is because they were feeling a need. There was a need.
Yeah.
There was a need for people to get out of this cycle of paying the SACEM for something they didn't want to pay for.
Maybe the SACEM just reduced the price enough to where people stopped fighting it.
Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know. I've never seen a big company reduce prices before.
Yeah.
But it's business. The business side is interesting for independent musicians and alternative musicians, and the other main source of, like, revenue is live music.
Yeah.
Selling physical merchandise.
Yeah.
Like physical records.
And there's some folks that, like, they don't want it, like, it's completely separate, and they have, like, a separate job, and they don't want them to be the same, and that's fine. But I think that, like, particularly someone that's doing live performances, I don't think that's, like, a reasonable reality. Like, people should be compensated for a public performance. We're lucky as a band in that we cover our expenses. There's loads of bands that don't even cover their expenses. Yeah.
Sunday night, headlining the Permaculture Festival, we got paid $300. So that's for people to understand.
Across how many people in the band?
Yeah,
5?
6 people in the
6.
band, and transport costs, rehearsal costs, quite a lot of costs. So we're in a very privileged position because we're getting paid to do what we love, and that's great. But there's no profit margin.
Yeah.
That's the reality. There's no profit margin, which means it's not a real business.
Right. Well, that's probably a decent place to cut it off. You got anything else to say before I press the button here?
What's an interesting thing to say? No, nothing interesting.
All right. Well,
biking is fun.
Yeah. Try to turn this off. It still says we're live, but are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes. So it still thinks we're streaming.